Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What's going on, everybody? Your baby boys are back and grateful to be here with your Survivor News covering Survivor Season 49, Episode 10. Hope your stomach is full. Hope your hearts are overflowing and you're ready to enjoy some Survivor News with your favorite Survivor News baby boys. We might not be a boy band, but we are definitely some baby boy rock stars. Welcoming back to the podcast in his home, has watched the episode. His internet connection is good. He is the winner of Ghost Island, but most recognizably known from his stint on Winners at War as the first merged boot. Welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Wendell Holland.
How we doing? I left my bell downstairs, so I might just have to bust out my own sound effects on the phone today. So, I'm doing good though. Thanksgiving was great. How are you guys?
We're amazing, but let's round out the triplet, the trio, not Destiny's Child, but the Beyonce of this podcast. You might know him from The Floor is Lava. For real, you know him from Emily on the Circle Season 2, but he might be calling your phone trying to cash you on the next best show out there. Let's welcome back to, and also let's just put this out there. We're recording early on Eastern Standard Time, which makes this practically the crack of dawn for the baby boy who doesn't really understand time. Jack Atkins, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I don't understand time.
I understand time, Jack.
Yeah, coming to you live 9 a.m. But this is a different version of the baby boy. Ever since I turned 25 and my frontal lobe developed, I could get up early. I'm taking my career very serious. So this week I've been working a little bit, doing some temp work. So I was getting up at 8 a.m., just getting over to the office, taking care of things. So
8 a.m.
8 a.m. So waking up at 8:45 to jump on the 9 o'clock pod, it's light. It's light work. So I'm ready to go. I got my coffee. And I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I'm excited to get. We got a lot to talk about too, not only with the episode, but with Brice and Wayne, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Woo!
Oh.
I need to hear about that. I'm like, that looked crazy.
It was a lot. We do have a lot to unpack and discuss, but how was your Thanksgiving, gentlemen?
Jackery, how was yours, bruh?
Yeah, mine was solid. Last weekend I had a few Friendsgivings. We did it up Saturday.
What's up, baby?
Full spread.
Okay. Jack's frat sketch comedy on his TikTok and Instagram. Hilarious. Jack putting out the table and the stuff. First of all, I didn't comment on the thing. Who that in the back? Who was the friend in the yellow Scully, Jack?
In the orange one?
Yeah, orange.
The black one or the white one?
Friend or shirt or hat?
What?
He was like the second one to enter the door.
Oh yeah, my boy Maxie.
What's up, Maxie?
Oh goodness.
Okay. Thank you for the love. Been trying to make more stuff, make more sketch stuff, but people seem to enjoy that. So it was fun at the Friendsgiving Saturday. People were quoting the sketch, but like the turkey came out and they're like, "It's the man of the hour." And then yesterday, I stayed in LA, did not go home, but I had a lovely day yesterday. I went to Dennis from the Summit's crib.
Oh, I love that.
Me. It was Dennis. It was Tiff. It was Tiffany's friend Abdu.
Ooh.
And it was
Whoa. Who's Tiffany's friend Abdu?
And it was Jared Fields, the big dog. And then went over and we hung out. Dennis cooked. An unconventional Thanksgiving meal, but a delicious one nonetheless.
Hmm.
And then I just popped around to some other friends' houses and just hung out, watched some movies, played games. It was very, very pleasant Thanksgiving. So how about you guys?
That's dope. That's dope. Mine was good. Let's see. Yesterday on Thanksgiving, I woke up. I had Wendy from Thanksgiving Eve to half of Thanksgiving. Okay. So I wake up with my man. We're running around playing. And my friend Angie, she's like a best friend of mine from like church. We were 5 years old. We've known each other for mad years. And then we went to college together. She went to college next to mine. Her and her husband and their 2 sons are up here for Thanksgiving. So they came over yesterday and they were playing with Wendy all morning. And it was just good to see my little man like wrestling with like the big bros kind of thing, you know? So that was fun. And then I had to drop him to his mom at 3:00. And after when he leaves me, I'm kind of down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm driving back. I got to drive an hour back. I'm like a little sad, whatever. I go to my parents' house. And for the first time in many years, they have 19 people over for Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Ooh.
And like, I'm used to a big household, a big family for Thanksgiving. Like, that's how I grew up. But then people get older, people pass away, people move away. I have like my older cousin Jason, his sister, they moved to Charlotte and to Dallas with their families. So like, Thanksgivings and Christmases have gotten smaller. And just to be around a family of 19, it was dope. And another thing to note is, again, I told you, like I dropped off Wendy. When I drop Wendy off, because I don't get my son a lot. I don't share this much, but I don't get him a lot. And when he leaves, I'm sad and I'm like down. But then I get to my family's house and I see my little sister who has kind of been estranged a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? I could take this. I could just still be sad. And then I could be beefing with my sister, or I could just be happy and blessed that my little sister's here. And one thing Brice told me was like, when you have families have issues, things happen, and you got to take the days as like you hit the restart button. So what I decided, because I was a little sad, I dropped Wendy off. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give Jillian a big hug, and I'm just going to embrace this moment. And I'm going to change my attitude. And because there have been times when Brice looks at me like, change your attitude. I do the same with him. So I said it to myself walking in on Thanksgiving, gave Jillian a big hug. And then the whole night, it was just really good. It was fun. It was, my beautiful family, people playing lots of games, and the food was incredible. So it was just like, the perfect night to kind of bring me up and bring me happy. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Like you might not see or talk to somebody for a long time. We don't know how long we're going to be with these people. And, just love on your family while you have them, while you're around them, and all of that good stuff.
That's great. That's
I
awesome.
love that. Okay, with the family.
Look at me talking.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like, I hear you because I like reflect on Thanksgiving when I was a kid, for example, and you're with like the whole family. Like even back then, like my parents were still together and we're all going to Thanksgiving together. And you got the whole family around. But like you said, as time goes on, you lose people, or like the family splits up, or like family issues can start to happen. It gets more complicated than when you were a kid. And so being able to like look at Thanksgiving or the holidays and have that like taking the right attitude on to approach and get the most out of it, I think is very important. That's something I've been trying to do more of myself. So that's good to hear.
I agree. Since everybody wanted to get all deep, I think my Thanksgiving was really good. I left Brice and Wynn, and I went to my mom's house in Delaware, and I was up all day and night cooking a turkey and just getting everything together. But sometimes the holidays are like such a joyous time, but I feel like for someone like me particularly, like my family really relies on me to be the and I think like this year, and again, Like I said, Wendell, fix your attitude. I said to myself when I got to my mom's house, like I was tired, doing Brice and Wins the night before the holidays. You've been to our events, Jack, we don't sit down for a second. We're running. We're like, giving ourselves. And sometimes, for the holidays, I want to go to my family's house and just be and enjoy. And I feel like maybe I don't want to say burden, but I think like what's the word? The weight of your shoulder,
the onus,
or like the cross that I have to bear. And I don't know if that's
like the expectation almost.
The expectation for me is that like I have to be on. And if I'm not, then it's like the mood, the energy shifts. And so it's like a big responsibility. And I take it proudly and I enjoy it, but it does weigh heavily on me where it's like I'm tired, like I want to like isolate afterwards. And it just kind of made me reflect of like my older brother that passed away. His name was Bevan. Like he was the charismatic one of our family. And so it's like I think maybe this holiday I was reflecting like, wow, like if my brother Bevan were here, I don't think the load would feel so heavy on me. But nonetheless, we had a great holiday. My stepdad John, my mom asked me to put together a plant stand. My stepdad, John, is like, you try to have to hide projects from him because if he sees you doing anything, he'll want to help. And he knows the best way, even though he don't know the best way. And it's literally it's an Amazon stand that has 2 screws. The directions literally say, no power tools needed. I'm sitting on the floor, just screwing in the screw, and a screw just falls out. It just falls down because it's like, you gotta. And so John sees it and he's like, what are you doing over there? I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm putting together this plant stand. I'm fine. And he's like, let me look at it. And then so I'm screwing on the screws. Like, hey, don't screw it like that. You're going to strip the bolt. You're going to strip the bolt. Next thing I know, John has a drill and it's drilling in the hole. And it's like, but these are the moments that I kind of appreciate because it's like, John is very much a dad, like a Wendell who like just take over and do stuff. So it was a great holiday. And I'm happy to be here with the baby boys. But you asked about the Sixers, Jack. And yes, Tyrese Maxey was blowing up my phone, talking about, Riz guys, he should play the idol. And I'm like, Tyrese, you should have us out. And so we had a great night at the Sixers. It was really good. Talk about what you're grateful for. And listen, y'all, sorry we going on and on, but it's Thanksgiving, okay? And we're family and we want to just get together. It was so great having like the old school players like Jervis, Russell, Ramona, with the legends, Ozzy, James Jones, Kyle, Riz God, Lindsay. Yes, James Jones is a legend, okay? Shout out to our guy, James Jones. It was really good just having those moments and bringing the people together. They asked us to come on on the court. We like, hey, what's up? But it was really interesting because before we all left for the Sixers, some of us got together at like Wendell's house, and like Russell Swan from Samoa was just saying so many nice things about just like, because Russell Swan has been there from the beginning of Brice and Win, my Survivor Cagayan premiere party. Russell Swan was there when I was in college and high school. I used to work at a shoe store, and before Russell was on Survivor, I used to fit Russell's daughter shoes for like 7 years. And then one day he comes back and I'm like, wait a minute. So like Russell just has really been a part of us, and just he gave us how would you describe the words that Russell Swan poured into us, Wendeezy?
It was great for him to just have this more intimate moment with us, because like Brice said, he was there from the beginning of everything with us. I met him when I was clerking in City Hall.
Tell the story.
I ran up on him outside of City Hall. I was like, yo, I'm going to be on Survivor one day. And then I stalked him on Facebook. He's known us for a long, long time. And he was basically like, hey, guys, you make a lot of people feel special and seen. And in your events, it's not about someone's status or all the winners or all the people that are cool or did very well or post-merge or whatever. It's about celebrating everyone, no matter where they were eliminated, and just the diverse range, no matter when they were eliminated or no matter when they played the game. And like, what we like to do is just celebrate everyone and the community. And I think it's good because, Brice was the third boot. I'll say it. And I wasn't the third boot. And we pour into people no matter when they finished, but also just like we try to reach back and get and celebrate people that played a while ago and might not have had a great experience. And he was just letting us know like he appreciates that about us.
It was also great, Jack, because Wendell's friend Angie and her husband, who I call Dad, drove us. So we were in a minivan driving to the Sixers, and it's me, Wendell, and Ramona. And Ramona is like, "Where is Jack at?" Ramona's like, "Do you remember these nights in South Africa when we would be in like going to karaoke and going to other places and just the funny things that we were talking about?" And I never forget the story. It was when I knew Jack was going to be one of our brothers outside of Wendell and I blowing up.
I was going to say it all started.
There was one night we were in South Africa, and it was when we were in when we stayed in those huts where the zebras were like staying around the huts. And I think we had went out, and I think some people, not me, might have been on a gardening mission in South Africa, and we all gardened a little bit, and we started talking like conspiracy theories in the huts of just like crazy stuff. And like everyone was really into it. But the funny part of the story was, and it was in Wendell and I's room. And so it was like this, I don't want to say hut, but it was like a cabin. As the conspiracy theories start getting deeper, Jack, you started off on the floor.
He got real comfortable, let's say.
So while we're having these conspiracy theories, Wendell's like laying in his bed. And so with me, Ramona, Desi, Jack, we're sitting on the floor. As the night got longer and longer, Jack got from the floor to the bench. From the bench, Jack sat on the bed. By the end of the night, Jack, you was laying on the bed like this. And at one point in time, Wendell was like, "Jack, get out my bed." And Jack's like, "What? Sorry, man. I'm sorry." It just was the fact that Ramona remembered that. It was so much fun. So it was great to be with everyone. The Brice and Win Philly stop was amazing. Shout out to our guy, Ozzy, who he ain't let one leg stop him. He was hopping around the city with us. Philadelphia was amazing. Wendell and I, Jack, watched Survivor with one of our friends this episode this week. The man, the myth, the legend. Jawan pulled up to our watch party.
Oh, yeah?
Brought his whole family with him. It was like so great. There was buddy games. Ramona was with us the night before. And Philly was really great. And so we are now on to our last 4 stops of the Brice and Win Tour 49. We're in Baltimore next week, December 3rd. Following that, Ozzy is going to be in Boston on December 10th. And I don't know, Wendell, we don't have anything to do that night. Who knows? Maybe we'll pop out to Boston and support our 3. Never mind.
What?
I was going to say 2-legged. Our 1-legged friend, Ozzy, in Boston. And after Boston, we are on the home stretch of the finale, December 17th. From coast to coast, we'll be in New York. Tiffany, who just was with our baby boy Jack on Thanksgiving, will be with Ozzy at St. Felix on December 17th. So from coast to coast, the baby's boy got you covered. And we are going to end the Brice and Win 49 blueprint with a bang. Now we're 20 minutes in. Let's get into the episode. I don't know where y'all want to start, but Jack, I kind of want to go in hot, and I kind of want to go in hot. But
go ahead, take it wherever. There's a lot to go into this episode.
There's a lot to go into, but my overarching, I want to talk about Yellow Sophie. I just want to say, Yellow Sophie she's proven to us she is a force to be reckoned with. There hasn't been an immunity challenge. She's not number 1 or number 2. On the first half of the season, we have not seen her a lot. And everybody's like, yo, what's up with Yellow Sophie? Where Yellow Sophie at? boom. This episode, Yellow Sophie is in the middle. And I love Sophie. I love watching her. She's such a strong player. But I will go on record and I will say this. She lost $1 million this episode to me. I feel like she sided with the wrong faction. I think right now, and again, I'm going there hot, Jack. I got turkey, ham, stuffing in my stomach right now. So I got a hot take. I feel like I rewatched the episode. Oh, Wendell is giving us the mouth movement, Jack, that he about to say something. But let me land this. Let me land it. I just feel like, yes, she's in the middle. Alex dropped out. She popped up. I feel like she sided with the wrong fashion. I just faction. Oh, I feel like she sided with the wrong faction. Because what? I said it. Faction.
Bryce, really quick, Jack. I'm sorry. There is so much nuance in a lot that's been going on these last few boots. There's so much to unpack. And regarding Sophie S.
Yellow Sophie. She is a great player. But my goodness, I think, yeah, she went with those big dogs. But again, like, there are things that we need to look at. And I only think that our podcast might be the only podcast that talks about these things. So we'll get into it all. But like, yeah, man, she went with these players who, if you take a Sophie S, Sophie B, Savannah, and a Rizzo, and you put them all at the end, they all have very strong arguments. Okay. Yeah.
And any one of them can win. So it's like, man, why don't you, homegirl, go with people that you might be able to beat a little easier, maybe. But also, her thing for voting out Jawan was, I don't want to sit next to you at the end.
Okay, I actually would like to sit next to Jawan.
Chill.
But again, like I'm saying, I don't want to be hypocritical, right? Because I've been saying all season, you can't play for the end game. You got to get to the end game. But we are kind of getting close to the end game. And I do think you do have to switch gears and look at it. Because in my opinion, in my assessment, and I'd love to know from the Survivor Savant, Jack, like your thoughts on this. I'm thinking like Sophie S., Sage, Jawan, Steven, Christina. That's a faction that I'd like to be in. I feel like, I don't know, but because
I like that group, but I also have to keep reminding myself that on the island you have imperfect information. We're watching, we know what everybody has. True. So again, like, we're watching this trio for the last few weeks who has all this stuff. They just started sharing some information of what they have. So like, again, when you just look at the numbers, you think one thing and you're yelling at the screen, oh my God, they're so powerful. They're so this, they're so that. We know that.
Yeah, that was going to be my main point. I agree with your general sentiment that in terms of like the groups, you definitely want to be towards the end with like Christina, Steven, Sage, and Jawan than with like Sophie and Savannah and Rizzo. My only thing is that if she wants to embrace playing this middle game, I don't mind her taking out. Now, I think Sage would have probably been a better vote than Jawan, but that's a different point. I would like to see Sophie try to flip back now, because now if you see this clear trio, 7 people total, it should be pretty easy for her to go back to Sage and Steven and Christina, and then that's your 4. And then maybe you go to the end with that 4, and now she's the one who controlled the votes. I think that's great. In theory, obviously you have to work around Rizzo's idol. But the problem is also they don't know the other things that, Sophie B has up her sleeve with the knowledge is power. obviously the extra votes out of the game now, but I agree. If Yellow Sophie is kind of putting her stake with this group, then yeah, I don't think she has much of a shot. But I do think there's still options for her to flip things around a little bit.
It worries me because this episode we saw Rizzo say, like, if I see somebody, first of all, I love the evolution of like I said, first couple of episodes, it was Riz. Hi, my name is Rizzo. Okay. Couple of last 4 episodes, it was like, hi, my name's my name. You know, when you go through puberty, like, you know, sometimes if you listen to Wendell talk, his voice does this. He'd be like, yo, what do you, hey? Like, it's like, my name's Rizzo. I'm here to play. Now, this episode, I turned the camera and he was like, hey, yo, what's up, B? My name Riz from the South Side. What's up, New York? What's popping with you? I was like, oh, okay. I love you can see the evolution of him. It's like we're watching him grow up. And it's like, for me, I look at stuff like that. I look at how cocky people are in these confessionals. And in the beginning, he's just like, I'm so happy to be here. And now it's like, he's like, when you in a better spot than me, you gotta go. And I said, oh, I like this mature Rizzo. But Rizzo said, when he sees people in these spots, he takes them out. Now, also, I love me some Riz guy, but it's like, you talking like you took 37 people out. You just took Alex out. But all right, I'm gonna let you cook. But it worries me because now Sophie S or Yellow Sophie, I'm scared the fraction might look at you now and be like, we need to get rid of you. And I also feel like Sage is going to be like, you took out my man. It's time for you to go. And now she'll be an easy vote for both the fractions to say she can go.
I agree. It was like with Riz God, it was like Urkel turned into Stefan Urkel.
Yes. Do you know, time out, Jack.
Uh-oh.
Do you know who Urkel is?
Yeah.
Can you give a classic Urkel line?
Classic line? No, but I know what he looks like.
Do you know the name of the show he was on?
No, I forget.
Can we? All right, let's.
Well, I know who Urkel was since I was like a kid. Like,
put your hands up, Jack. Okay, give you 3 options of a shows. You hands up, Jack.
Sorry.
Living Single.
No.
Fresh Prince.
No.
Family Matters. Full House.
This Family Matters, right?
That's only because you know all the other shows. Okay.
Process of elimination.
Right. Well, no, I know, but he's got the glasses with he's got the pants pulled up way too high. Like,
yes.
I know who Urkel is.
What was his favorite cuisine?
Now I don't know if I know that. You're a lot older than us.
A charcuterie item.
Cheese?
Got any cheese?
Now, was he the one? Did I do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Go home, go home, go home, go home. Okay.
Are you getting that confused with Go Home Roger? Wasn't that?
Roger was T and Tamara.
Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, they were kicking Urkel out.
Wait, time out, but Jack, what's a sitcom, like a sitcom that you watched?
I mean, my favorite one's The Office, but watched some like Full House as a kid.
Name
I don't watch a lot of
Full House.
You got like
Uncle Jesse
names, yeah, Uncle Jesse. What the names of like the people, or just like the characters that they're
characters.
Well, I mean, you had like the twins, like Mary Kay and Ashley. I forget
that wasn't their names,
and that was one character.
Yes,
that's 2 characters. They're
0.
It was one character.
Was there a Lisa or no?
No.
Uncle Jesse.
Who else?
And then you had the dude who was played by the tall, lanky white dude.
Bob Saget?
Yeah.
Danny Tanner.
Yeah, I don't know other names. I mean, I don't watch that in years. What?
Uncle Joey, DJ,
Right.
Aunt Lisa, Aunt Becky.
Wait, Aunt Lisa. Oh yeah, Aunt Becky.
Becky.
Yeah, that's the one who got in trouble with like the USC scandal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Back to the regularly
Okay,
scheduled programming. We're talking about Sophie and her decisions to flip flop and whether that's good for the game. Now, again, take out a Jawan. That's part of the bigger faction. And maybe you could flip back and take out one of the big three, maybe.
Yeah, because my thing is, I don't know if she goes. Say they blindside Savannah and she's on board with that. Now there's 7 left, and she's still in that group. She's in that group of 5 of Joanne, Sage, Steve, and Christina. I mean, to me, that's the 4 in that 5. And so I feel like they wouldn't feel like they need Sophie. So Sophie, I mean, maybe they get to 5 or whatever, and she's like the swing, and then maybe that puts her in a good spot. But she was clearly on the bottom of that group. Whereas with this other group,
she at the with Rizzo, Sophie B, and Savannah, where is she at in that group?
But to me, like if you're in a group of 4, you're good, because once you get to your 4, there's no vote. It's just fire. You know what I mean? So not that she should want to go to the end with that group, but if I'm 4 out of 4, I don't really. It's not as big of a deal. But if you're 5 out of 5, it's a lot tougher. Also, 4 is a more manageable number. Like 5 is like inevitably there's going to be more like an inner group within that. You know, there's like going to be a 3 or a main 2. Whereas 4, it's like if there's a main 2 in there, then you and the other person are going to be a 2. Right?
If they're saying that she is their number 4, even like I don't even see them even bringing her that close to it because of how dangerous she is.
But you keep saying she's at the bottom of the other 5. And what I keep pointing out is what I said last week was that the minority is really the majority, because the majority, in my opinion, is Sophie, Savannah. But I'm just saying like Sophie, Savannah, and Rizzo, right? There isn't another 3. Yes, there's Sage and Jawan. We know they're together. Christina and Steven, they're not like they're with them, but like through the edit that we've watched, it doesn't seem like they are. It doesn't seem
as
like they're
close.
5. Yeah. So and then there's the yellow Sophie. So that's why I'm saying like they're not really together. It's Joanne and Sage, and then it's
Sage and Steven, you know, like Steven was sharing about Christina's idol with Sage. There's definitely some crossover. Obviously, Steven and Joanne, like Joanne had that moment where he was kind of like testing Steven, and Steven still was not. So they're not as locked in as a 4 as the other group is as a 3. But I don't know. That's the thing. Once you get to 7, and that group then has 4, like that's probably going to be the majority. So then Sophie probably is like not like she might last another vote, but I don't know if there's as many options for her to get to the end if she does that. But obviously now she has to like play really methodically to break up that 3, because even if she gets to the end with that 3, she's not going to win. So it's like you gotta literally her move should just be like explaining things away, try to flip back and try to take out like Rizzo, Savannah, Sophie, boom, 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 almost.
Wait, you said, I'm sorry for clarity. I'm sorry. You said if she gets to end with that 3, she's not going to win.
Not against like Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie B.
I feel like there's an argument that she can.
I don't know.
Well, my thing too is like I think I saw a theory about this, but like I think the reason that she didn't get a lot of airtime in the pre-merge is it seemed like maybe she didn't get along very well with the rest of Hina. And so rather than show her in a negative light, because obviously she has a presence after the merge, they kind of just like left her out of it because they didn't go to any tribals. And if people were talking about her, it might not have been like the most positive. So now it's like her opportunity. Now that she is more of a factor going to tribals and like has influence, they are showing her more. But I maintain that like I don't think the original Hina like loved her. I mean, we see when she comes back from the MC vote when they're like, no, MC's gone. Like it was supposed to be Sophie. Like I don't think she's got a lot of winner equity in that sense.
I do think there still is a chance for her, right? Like if she can take out a Sophie B, if she could take out a Savannah, if she like, she still has some moving pieces. I'm not counting her out. Like, she still has some options on the board.
Agreed.
It just becomes a little more difficult.
But to Wendell's point, if she is at the end with those people, like if she is at the end with Savannah and Rizzo, like I think that's really tough.
It's tough. It's tough, but like we don't know what's about to happen in these next couple of episodes, and she's a beast. So, yeah,
I guess. But it's like now, what's her path with them? Like, if they just pick off like Christina, Sage, and Steven, like is the perception really going to shift to be like Sophie was running things?
Well, I mean, it depends on if she was able to take out, if she could work with Christina, Steven.
Well, yeah, but that's the opposite. I agree with you, Brice. That's her best move.
Well, Jawan was her decision, right?
True.
And that I think that Jawan vote really changed the direction of this game because they had an option to do to pick off one of these big three. So if Jawan is her decision and she's already won immunity, once? Twice.
And she's been top 2 in all.
Okay. Now give her 1 or 2 more of those. Like I think, yeah. Now I know that, some people know who is on 50 and some people want to like watch that thinking that. I don't know what happens in this show. So I'm thinking I'm thinking there's a world where she can beat these guys based on what she's shown me already.
Yeah. Can I talk about Savannah, right? Like I've been on Savannah ass all season. I've been a Sage all season. Why is she still in here? Why are y'all playing and keeping her in here? The way Savannah had me, because do I love the way this woman is so direct. It does something to the britchers. When she gets word that Jawan and Sage ain't being loyal and that the possibility of her name is floating around, what would I do? I'd be mad. I'd be getting mad, and I would be talking to my alliance and everybody else saying, we got to get them. What does she do? She go right up to them. That conversation with her and Christina. Now, mind you, I love my girl Christina, and like Christina has had a rough time this episode, and I do want to talk about that. But like, obviously, Christina is trying to play ball with Savannah, but it's like, and I love my girl Christina, but baby Christina, you was playing softball, and my girl Sage is an MLB
or Savannah, right?
So my girl Savannah is an MLB 3-ring champion that like is at her daughter's softball league, and y'all asking her to hit the ball because the way Savannah was like, okay, well, what's the other option then?
We haven't seen play like that in a while.
Okay, because time out. She had me scrambling. Jack and Wendell, I like to pretend I'm in the episode. And when she said that, in my mind, I'm thinking, who would I say, right? Because it's like, you should have that answer should be readily available, right? Like, so it's like, okay, you can take a pause, but you got to say somebody. But then in those 3 seconds, it's like, well, oh shit. I can't say Jawan because I'm working with Jawan. I can't say, like, it's like the way Savannah cornered her. And like when Christina said, I need 2 seconds, like that was like, oh my God. Like Christina said that, Christina let her intrusive thoughts win. Like Christina was like, give me 2 seconds. Like, oh, that was some good gameplay.
Was it good gameplay? I'm here to question Savannah's gameplay and all of their gameplay this episode because they have a lot of artillery. They're very powerful. They're in a great position, and I almost feel like I've seen some overconfidence this episode. It's almost like so confident you're almost showing your hand. Because even when she was questioning Jawan, we only got a moment of that, but I was like, homegirl, like you might be pushing it a little too hard, homegirl. That's all. Like, that's how I saw it.
I saw it as like reverse psychology because again, we know viewers that the minority is really in the majority, and that is like, yeah, her giving that cocky from the minority kind of almost amps up Joanne and them to be like, yeah, we got them. Like, yeah, they think I kind of thought. I mean, now she was doing a little bit like this will test our trust. I was like, oh,
it was that line and the look on her face that I was like,
and her tapping his knee, like, oh, okay, well, this will tap our trust. But mind you, yeah, if it didn't work out, it would look crazy. But the fact that it worked out and replaying that. Her being like, it will test our trust, and I know you don't trust me, and I'm sending you, like that's something that ages well.
Well, I think it worked out especially well with Christina because as soon as someone was like, oh, I don't know, I need a minute, I need to let me go figure out what I'm going to say to you. I'm kind of stressed out. It's like, okay, so your answer is probably me. Like,
right?
If it wasn't, you would probably have something to say. And so with Jawan, who was a little bit more prepared for that conversation, though, I do agree because his answers were good. And so if I'm Jawan, I don't think she was like too bad, like the way that y'all are saying it. But if you do get that weird flavor, like you're being grilled or that she's like overconfident, even if you're handling the questions well, I'd still be like, what is she like? What's going on? My thing though is with Christina. Like with the Christina example, I think good gameplay in the moment. My worry is that it's still like it's good, it's effective, but it also comes across like a little abrasive. And so now I worry that Savannah with a jury, like she's not really gonna have a fan in like Jawan. She's not gonna have a fan in Christina. She, some of these other people on the jury might have rubbed the wrong way a little bit. And so that's my concern. Like, I think this type of gameplay is very helpful for getting far in the game, but at the same time, I think it could be like leave a bad taste in the mouth of the jurors.
But it always is interesting when we get to the jury, right? Like, what type of jury will we have? Because it's like you could have a jury that you leave a bad taste in their mouth, or you could have a jury that's like, you know what? Hats off to whoever is there and what the game is like. So it will be, I think, interesting to see. And with the jury that we are announcing now, I think interesting and different perspectives because we have a Nate who is super close to a Savannah. And we talk about this a little bit where it's like people always say bitter jury. And we've like kind of talked a lot about that. But I don't necessarily, y'all know my thoughts on that. I don't necessarily think it's a bitter jury, but I do also think it's like the narrative that can be told. And we have someone like a Nate there who is pro Savannah and like, bouncing off ideas of MC. And then here comes Alex. But I do just want to take our time in a moment to talk since we are at the jury. Again, I'm not saying that it's anything, but I do think it just should be brought up. We've made the merge. And we have 4 jury members now, and they all people of color. And I'm not saying that anything in the game, it's just
an observation.
An observation that I just like to put on the table.
And what a lot of, okay, and I've been watching the discourse online, and our buddy James Jones likes to he'll put out there an image of the 4 Black survivors that are sitting on the jury right now and say, hey, this is what the jury looks like. And he's right. It's all Black people on the jury right now. And one thing that I say is when we cast a lot more Black people, yes, there will be more Black people on the jury. Yes. But there is something like, now I'm looking at it like, man, are these people almost now scared to even sit next to a Black person at the end because there are so many Black people sitting on the jury? That's one thing that I'm wondering. Aside from all the things like I've seen people talk about, hey, maybe, oh, it was great to have this person or these people leading the charge while we were on a tribe and helping us so much. And now we want to get rid of them kind of thing. or whatever the discourse is. But now the way I'm looking at it now is like, man, do y'all just not want to sit next to a black person at the end because there's a black jury? Or were y'all trying to avoid, because historically there's never been 5 black people post-jury. I'm sorry, post-merge, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I think I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all trying to avoid a cookout situation? Which I don't think would happen because these players weren't together. They weren't together. You know, like you have black people voting each other out. But it's an interesting observation that now there's only one black person remaining when 5 of them entered the post-merge.
I've also seen some discourse.
Excuse
Right,
me.
this is serious, bro.
I know. Give me 2
Clean
seconds.
it up.
That was anyway. I've also seen some discussion around that same topic, and I also saw like this discussion thread where someone was bringing up that the jury is for black people now, and then other people were saying like, well, the black people were voting for the black people, and to that I will say, yes, they did. And a part of the diversity initiative was that, like, you can be out there and you don't have to work with someone because you're black. Before, when it's only 1 or 2 people, it's like they already are going to pin you. So I just make that comment. And again, you can have your own take, you can have whatever, but it is just something to be noted. That's all.
Yeah.
And sorry, Jack. Yes, and like you said, Brice, the black people voted for the black people. First of all, when they voted for Nate is a really good player, and
Right.
it wasn't a trend at that point. No, it was, let's get this really good player out, okay? And then you start seeing things. Now that it's happened, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, what is going on? Another thing I saw online is, oh, these players are just really bad players, and oh, it's just bad gameplay that they're not. There are some good players in there for various reasons and threats for various reasons. MC was a true beast. Are you kidding me? So, and Alex, he was maneuvering in the middle a little bit here and there. We can't say that they're bad players.
Yeah.
And we can't attribute it all to like, oh, black people voting for each other. No, that did happen. But also, this is what the jury looks like. Sorry, Jack, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I agree. Definitely something I've noticed, especially because people were celebrating at the merge, like, online, like this is the first time there's been 5 black jury members. I think you can look at each in a vacuum, and like each vote out kind of makes sense in a way. But then obviously 4 in a row, it's like, what are the underlying factors here that might be contributing to this narrative? And also another, like, because I totally agree with everything you guys are saying, but it's also an interesting addition to it of kind of what you were saying, Wendell, of like, none of them went out pre-merge, but then when the merge hits, it's all back to back, right? Because if it was like the first 5 out in the game up top, that it would be like, all right, what's the issue here? Like, something's going on. This makes it a little more complicated because it's like, okay, it wasn't all like right away, but then they hit the merge. It's like, what are the other criteria that's now being factored in where this happens? And it's not like, again, it's not the main criteria for each vote, but maybe there's a little sprinkle of something overall that's influencing that.
And I also just want to say, like, we're not saying that it is something or one way. I just want to say that we are just having the conversation. And I feel like that's also the taboo of the subject, where it's like, we're having the conversation. That's all I just want to point out there, right? Like, it's because when you don't have the conversation, then it gets a little sticky or gets a little uncomfortable. But it's like, we are having the conversation. And I think that is good. And I think that other podcasts or other people shouldn't shy away from it, because it's like, we should have this discussion.
It's not like we're pointing any fingers. It's just like,
right.
What's going down. And I wonder, it's interesting too, thinking of it from the player standpoint of like, if you're out there, how much are you considering like optics? Not to say that should or should not be considered, but trust me, I think if I was out there and I saw the first 4 people on the jury were all black people, I'd probably be like, what's going on here, and maybe let's not. It's like maybe let's leave Christina in a little longer.
That's a good. But so you bring up a point now. Well, it's interesting because now it's like now if you're left, now Christina is in an interesting position.
Yeah,
she is, and again, like pre-diversity, she's the only Black person on the island now. It's like we've seen that a lot pre-diversity initiative, and what I think is important. I think it's important that we talk about it. I think it's important that we at least highlight it because, again, Brice, other podcasts aren't going to necessarily talk about this. And I also, Jack, I think it's very important that you are bringing your perspective to this because we're two Black men that have been on the island, and you're a white man who has not been on the island, but you see things, but you have a different perspective. You have a different lens. So it's important that, we're speaking from our lens, and we have a lot of listeners that have a similar perspective, and we have a lot of listeners that have a different perspective, and I'm sure they're going to be in the comments, and we appreciate those comments, so just like we appreciate whatever you bring to this conversation. When we talk about these things, I know people are like exhausted about talking about race and this, that, and the third, but if we're seeing these things, the best way to come together or understand other people is to talk through things. So I think this is a good platform for that.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where I think just bringing it up is good because it is it's a situation where it's like, oh, it's not like there's necessarily blame to be put on anybody. That's not what I don't think any of us are trying to do. But it's like you kind of just bring it up. It's like it's really more of a question. It's like, why do we think this is happening? And so I think just introducing that question, putting it on people's minds, maybe opening up the some room for some discourse and for different ideas is important. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely with you. And yeah, to what I said too, it's like, yeah, for the people in the game, it's like you're balancing that and the optics, and also like optics is one thing, but also like even like within, I guess like the optics, like you obviously when you're out there, you might be worried what people think when they watch. But I think also when you're out there, you should be treating it as if, if nobody's watching, still, this is still something that should be addressed. But then you're also battling for $1 million. So it's like, you still have Christina, and part of me would be like, let's not put let's not put them all on the jury right away. But say Christina is the biggest threat to win the game, then you're like, well, then she's also big. It makes things complicated, and I think that's what makes Survivor interesting as like a microcosm of society, and that's why, you said people might be tired of talking about stuff like this, but it's like this is just a thing that exists in society, so it's naturally going to arise on Survivor, and it's just important to discuss it in that sense. And then again, I think ultimately for me, it's like. It's sort of, you think about like statistics. There's a class thing is like correlation does not imply causation. So this might be something that happens. We don't know that X, Y, or Z is like the blatant reason, but sometimes to me it's like you notice a pattern, and it's like, well, it's not like a direct A to B correlation causation. It's not like, oh, these players are racist, like that's why this is happening. But it might be like, what are all these little micro factors that are occurring that might have created this outcome? And that's like, can be really impossible to articulate, but I think it's important to think about like, what are the little variables that might be influences, and what can we all sort of adjust to maybe make it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I like the challenges. I will have to go on record and saying the challenges this season have been a little mixture of a lot of things, but I loved especially I want to say is the immunity challenge when they had to walk across the beam, dive in, get the clip, walk across it again, and then kind of like the basketball essence.
That was the reward challenge.
Oh, that was the reward challenge.
I thought the water, like the water challenge.
Yeah. I thought that was so much fun. And another thing that, again, shout out to another Purple Pants powered podcast, Split the Vote with Tim and Rob. If you're not listening to them, you should. Last week, Tim brought up this really good observation of we've been splitting these tribes up for immunity, and like the tribes have been winning. I miss the mother days when it used to be one person will win reward, and then you pick people to go on the reward with you. Like, I think with the amount of tribe swaps that we have had, the amount of like people wanting the conversations, it would have been great. And so like, I kind of miss those days. And I know as the numbers are going to dwindle down, they'll probably do it. But I want y'all to do it when it's a lot of people so somebody could be pissed. And like, it really can show your hand of who you're working with. Or if you're in a position where my back's against the wall and I need to talk to an Alex or I need to talk to a Steven, I'm going to pick them. I kind of missed them doing that when there's larger numbers.
It's a great point. I didn't really think about that. I also think that if you have the reward challenges be more individual, it kind of highlights people's individual skills at this individual phase of the game. So I definitely agree. More of a mixture in that sense would be great. Like you said, I think as the numbers go down, like at 7, they're not going to be splitting the teams. I think it's going to be, they're picking someone. But I like the challenges this episode. I thought the immunity challenge was a lot of fun. They're adding some new components, like the teeter totter was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, we talk about the reward challenge. I think we were talking about Christina. This was a big moment for her. It is very emotional. But she also at the same time powered through, and her getting up off the beam, I was like, I don't even know. In my mind, once you're at the bottom of the beam, I was like, Christina, just drop back in and start over. She said, nah, like I'm gonna go crazy on this one. But yeah, I thought, what were your guys' thoughts on that whole Christina arc, this episode?
I think she's been through a lot, and I think we always go through this conversation of like 39 days isn't as hard as 26 days. 11 days was hard. And I think that Survivor, it tests you in many ways that you can't. Of course, the gamers, it's a numbers game. I do this and that. But yeah, when you out there, it's raining, you're hungry. There's no cell phone, no TikTok. You're not on a call jack, and you are out in those elements. It really does test you. And when your spirit is broke, sometimes it's really hard. And I think we've seen the Christina arc of her talking about her mom. And I don't know, it really broke me. Because when we were watching it at Fringe in Philly, I couldn't get the whole essence of what was going on. I just saw Christina crying. I'm like, what's going on? But in the rewatch, like her just saying, I want my mom, like that would just kind of like hit me to the core. And it also just, them playing it on Thanksgiving Eve. And we're talking about spending holidays with our families. And it just reminds me that sometimes the holidays are a joyous time. And sometimes for people that have lost family, that don't have a lot of family, sometimes the holidays can be like such a lonely and isolating time. And so I do want to use this time on the podcast to remind our posse to reach out to your friends, reach out to your strong friends, reach out to your friends that you haven't heard in a while during the holidays. Extend an olive branch to invite them to your families or to your family gatherings or doing something, because the holidays, yes, it's the season of giving and we all love the rum chowder and the eggnog and the wrapping, the gifts and there are great things, but sometimes people really do struggle during this holiday. And just seeing Christina in that moment the night before Thanksgiving, just crying out for her mom because she was having a hard time, really touched. And I think seeing her, like you said, Jack, power through, because Lord knows if I would have been hanging on, child, I'm getting old. I was play fighting with Wendell the other day, Jack, and I went to go hit him, and my arm said cluck, cluck, cluck. So it's a lot. And so much love to Christina, and I was so happy that she powered through. And I loved how and even as the sharkiest of the shark that Savannah is, she kill all the fish. She's a shark of a shark. And in that moment, Christina was like, do it for your mom. You can do it. I was just like, I love the competitiveness of Survivor. And I also love the humanizing of it all, where it's like, we're all out here and we can see you going through something.
And to speak to, Survivor ain't easy, first of all. And it's harder and you have people that have been through a lot of real life things, and everyone's been through something different, and you put them on an island and you starve them and you put them under duress, and you don't know how people will respond. And we'll actually talk more about that with Jawan a little later. But Jawan moved over and put his arm around Christina. And like, I think there's something to be said there, you know, like he was the one that reached out to give her that comforting arm when she was going through it. So much respect and much love for that little gesture.
Jawan has been telling us his story throughout this whole season of Survivor, that like he's a provider. And we even, I think, were joking with him earlier on in the season when I don't know if he like lost something or he was trying to provide, or the fire, he couldn't get the fire, and he really took it to heart. And we're like, it's day 2, you okay? But like, you know, we see this, we continuously see him talk about providing. And even when they didn't win the reward, we even see Rizzo have a moment where Rizzo is kind of down and out, and we don't really get the arc of what's going on, but we just know everyone's having a hard time. And like Jawan says, F the game, let me go out and fish, let me make this big moment. And you know, Jawan's 2'3", so he's out there in 5-foot water, like swimming, and like he's going deep in the water and getting fish. And it's like him just like take that moment to get that fish and provide for them. It meant a lot. And even just seeing Jawan at our watch party, having his like siblings around and seeing his siblings watch him fish, and just like, I don't know, it just, you know, we joke about Jawan a lot because that's our brother. But sad to see him go. But I love the fact that I felt like his story of him being a provider, him being like, no matter what, like I'm going to be there for my friends. I feel like that arc came through throughout the season. And so, you know, just a big shout out to Jawan.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these things throughout the season. And we're joking about Jawan, and he gave us a lot of jokeable moments. He's great TV. He's great. His confessionals are great. The stuff still in the wrong bag by accident. This, like, all these things are hilarious. It's great TV. He's playing the game, and he's willing to make moves, you know. And then hearing a little bit about his family on the show, and then seeing him like really wanting to protect his family, just seeing the kind of son and brother he is around his actual family at our watch party was just like, wow, like, you know, we heard about this out there and we see it in real life. And yeah, it was very good to see. And yeah, Jawan is a solid dude.
100%. Yeah.
And he from the East Coast, 856, South Jersey.
Yeah, and Jack knew him for a long time, and you know,
that's what I'm saying.
Been chilling with him forever.
You know, my people always bring it, but yeah, I thought Jawan was great, and I was really happy yesterday because last night after the episode, I was browsing the Reddit and just kind of seeing what the main topics of conversation are. I mean,
time out, Jack. Wait, sorry, I don't cuss me off for cussing Jack out. Jack, when you browse the Reddit, you be like in your bed, you be sitting down. Like, what's
the? I feel like, you know, maybe I think at one point we might have been watching a movie that I wasn't enjoying that much. So, you know, I'll pull up.
And so when you browse the Reddit, like, do you look for the one that has like the most?
Well, I usually just sort it by like top posts today.
Okay. Okay.
What are the people talking about? You know, these are the main topics of conversation we might want to touch on these on the podcast.
So Jack got it sorted.
But there was one that was, you know, a very popular post about like Jawan was great casting, and people in the comments were pouring out some love for Jawan. I feel like throughout the season he's had some ups and downs in terms of maybe how he's been portrayed and how people have perceived him. But I know, but I think that makes it such good casting and so interesting is like it's complex. Like he's got, you know, complex family dynamics. Sometimes he'll have some goofy moments, but sometimes he'll put his strategic hat on and really play the game hard. And I think all those things amalgamate to be a great character. Yeah, you know how to throw that down. Yeah. But yeah, and people in the comments, it was all love for Jawan. So I was very happy to see that he left. I know it was up and down for him. I haven't talked to him about it, but I think ultimately he left a very good mark on the game. So yeah, I thought it was great. And you know, we talking about Jawan being the victim of the vote this episode. I thought it was a great tribal to go out at. I mean, it was, I didn't want him to go home, but if you are going to go home, I think going home among some fireworks and just a really exciting tribal, the most exciting tribal this season, probably in my opinion, that's always an honorable way to go out.
Yeah.
And so what did you guys think about, you know, we already touched a little bit on Sophie being the swing vote here and how the vote played out, but what do you ultimately think about how the vote went down? Christina plays her idol for Steven. A few different people get votes. You know, Jawan, Savannah, Rizzo all catch some votes. And then Rizzo, you know, also playing his fake idol. There's a lot to unpack. Where do you guys, what caught your attention the most?
So I think wanted to start with Sage, right? Sage had the plan of wanting to get Savannah out. Also in Sage's plan, she wanted to flush the idol. I think there were some errors in house. Like, I think Sage wanted a lot to happen. And I think if Sage would have maybe could have focused her energy a little on one thing, I think maybe it could have been a little more successful. That's just my one take on like Sage and how it didn't go her way at all. This Riz idol, I want to know your thoughts on it, because my mind, I'm like, okay, you played a fake idol for Savannah, obviously for the theatrics of it. But the way I interpreted it is Rizzo playing the people out there. Do you believe now the consensus is he never had an idol? He had a fake idol, or like, because I would think if I'm sitting there and you play this idol and Jeff says it's not real, I would be like, the whole time he's had a fake idol. So I thought that could have been really nuanced.
So, Brice, I hear you. I think that would have been really cool. And I was thinking that at first, and I think you and I had a brief discussion about it. But I think his intention was, I'm going to play it and see who's with me. I'm gonna scope the scene to see what's going on. Savannah, if you clocked it, was looking right at Jawan. And I think, and then Jawan was like, yo, Riz, play the real. I think they were just trying to clock the scene when he was playing it. I think that was his intention. Also, the way, first of all, they came into the tribal with a whole lot of confidence. The way tribal opened up, Riz is like, hey, this is where the lights are on. You know, I'm going to perform. He was Riz Urkel. And and then after they voted Jawan out, after it was success, first of all, they were checking him while the votes were being read. Savannah was like, was it you? He's like, yeah. And then the votes switched and it was like, damn. But also, Riz stands up ready to take all the credit. And Jawan's still kind of confused and saying, who did this, that, and third? Riz was like, so the way I look at it, it was Riz doing that so they could see, like, in real time, kind of who's with them.
Is that effective, though?
Huh?
Is that effective, though?
I don't know. But shoot, if anything crazy could have happened, he could have still busted out the real one. Pause. You know? Like, he could have. So I just think it was a way of testing things, which we've seen before. I think we saw Rachel do something where we've seen someone test the waters before.
With like her shot in the dark.
Yeah. So I just think that it was more, I think he had too much confidence and swagger before, during, and after, as opposed to him acting like, oh my gosh, it was fake. Or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think his main intention was to get a gauge on people. And I think that can work. I don't know if you want to put all your eggs in that basket, because you could easily be outplayed in that sense. But I think someone said that, like, I think when it was revealed that it was fake, you could see Sage kind of like, thank God. And so knowing that, it's like, okay, Rizzo knows he's good then, because if anything, maybe the vote's on Savannah. But then they also have like the plan, their own plan. It's a good question though, Brice, with it being potentially fake. I'm kind of trying to remember back to when he actually found it, who all was there, because if you see him find the actual one, you might know that this is a fake one. But
people, Nate, Savannah, like, it was the blue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, maybe now it's like it could have been good to have it where, oh, Rizzo doesn't have an idol anymore because now you can actually at 7 you can just play it as more of a surprise. But I do agree, like with Wendell, he had so much confidence. I feel like Rizzo likes to claim his moves where maybe he'll straight up just be like, no, I still have mine. I just wanted to get a sense of where things were at. But who knows? I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was helpful, maybe not majorly helpful, but at least like somewhat. And I think also Rizzo is the type where Jeff is like, yo, we're still casting spots on 50. Rizzo's like, all right, I gotta put on a show every time I step the Bible. And clearly it worked out. So sometimes I think it can be a little corny when people try to. I don't think this instance was, but I think sometimes people at Tribal will try to put on too much of a show, and it can be like, all right, why are we doing all that? But I think in this instance, when you have something that really does have an impact on the vote and whether you're making your player point your idol and this and that, I think it's a good show. So, props to Rizzo.
Yeah. I also think it kind of, again, I understand Sage wanted to flush Christina's idol out, but and ultimately she did. But why I don't think it was the best move for her in the sense because the plans got flipped. You lost your number one, and now somebody that you could be potentially working with who's on the side of the fashion that you are on. Now an artillery, even though you're not directly working with them, but now who you gonna work with now, right? Like maybe flushing that idol wasn't the best thing for
From
you.
From whose standpoint?
From Sage's standpoint, like Sage wanted to flush Christina's idol, right? That was her big thing.
Really?
But what I'm saying,
was that her like main priority?
Well, that was after she was dead set on Savannah, she then amended the document and was like, I want to flush Christina's idol out too. And so what I'm saying, that's what I was saying. I was like, I felt like Sage was kind of doing too much in her plan because now the plan didn't work. You lost your best friend and your closest ally and somebody that is not on Riz, Savannah, and Sophie's side. Now they just lost something that could potentially have protected you and went against them. So I'm just saying, like, it wasn't a great day for Sage.
I think Sage's plans are always pretty solid. It's just people don't always buy all the way in.
Right.
But I mean, look, the idol being back, because I don't know if Christina is going to play an idol for Sage. So the idol being back out there gives her an opportunity to maybe find something. Then again, if Savannah or Sophie B go find that idol, put a bow on it, it's a wrap. Like, it could be tough. But I don't know. I think Sage is always thinking pretty smartly. It's just people aren't always subscribing to the plan.
I agree.
Do we think that her being so focused on Savannah might be a detriment to her game?
I don't think so. Like, yes and no, because she's been right. I just haven't been listening to her. But then at what point, but then what do you do?
Yeah.
You just
I feel like you have to try to keep achieving the thing that you think is the best move, right? Like if it's not like if Savannah's not working, I don't know. I don't know if Sophie B is going to be an easier target to get people on board with. And then it's like, oh, she shouldn't just pivot and be like, all right, I guess let's get Steven. I don't agree, but let's get Steven. I think, I thought they were going to go Sage over Juwan.
So did I.
Maybe out there because Sage kind of plays into being a little bit goofier. Maybe they thought Juwan was more of a threat, but I think we've seen that Sage is kind of the one guiding a lot of the strategy, and she's more connected to Steven and all that. So, and also we know Sage comes back with a little bit more of a vengeance. Juwan, if this blindside happened, he'd probably be like, oh, like you got me. That's cool. Like that's good gameplay, and probably bounce back and be ready to work with whoever. Sage is like, if you cross her, you got it. So now I'm curious to see, Sage's revenge. Maybe she goes and finds that idol that just got played, and maybe she's able to make some things happen. I hope some things get shaken up.
You make a good point though, right? Because I'm with you. I would have thought that they would have picked Sage because she has been the more strategic one. So clearly they're thinking that's Juwan. So I would love to see a Sage's revenge where they're clearly not going to be. They're thinking they sucked the head off the snake with Juwan and Sage. So now they're going to be sadly mistaken when they realize they sucked the wrong snake's head, which does happen a time or two. But if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and suck the next snake's head off. So it will be interesting to see how Sage recovers from this, and the fact that she still is very smart, savvy, mind locked in the game with the numbers that she works with. My interesting point will be like how I'm curious to see how Yellow, Sophie, and Sage connect after this, right? Because would be interesting because they two are kind of in the middle, and if they two could lock in, that could be something interesting because I think that they could be the antidote to a Sophie B, a Savannah, and a Riz, and they two lock in because that could be a powerful duo.
And we also see now sometimes these teasers are a little misleading. Sometimes the teaser is a little misleading, but we also see it seems like Sophie B might be willing to play ball. And so that could be really interesting if Sophie B switches up. And honestly, right now,
it's the time.
I think, it's the time. And I also think Sophie B right now would be my winner pick. I know a lot of people have been saying one of the two that are on 50. But I don't know. I think it could be.
Jack, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you.
She says the knowledge is power.
If she were to suck the head off of Savannah or Rizzo, baby.
Now, what I would say for her, there's 7 left. I don't know if 7 is the time. I almost think 6 is the time for her to make the move. But
Jack, do the numbers for me. Because you say 6, 7 the time. If Sophie B's first move was to play her knowledge is power and strip Rizzo of his idol at Tribal, right? That would leave him vulnerable. That would guarantee, and maybe they vote him out. That's her at 7, right?
Yeah.
Then next week episode, if she just simply plays the idol, that now puts her at 6.
At 5.
At 5, right? Like, walk me through this. Take me through that? Is that like, that could be a recipe for?
Well, no, 100%. That's what, but I think right now she's not on a ton of people's radars. And I think at 7, you could take out like a Steven. And then at 6, you grab Sage, you get Christina, maybe you get Sophie S. Even if you have 3, she's going to know who they're going to vote on the other side. You get Sophie, or you get Christina, you get Sage, and then maybe it's at 3. But then it's like, okay, you could steal the idol and then vote whoever you want. Maybe she would have to play the idol so that it doesn't, to avoid a tie. But also I feel like Sophie S would probably play ball. So like, I think you try to get 4 with Sophie S, like take the idol, vote out Rizzo or Savannah. And then at 5, then that's when you have the idol, you play it at 5, then you're good to 4. Because I'm worried now, I think the way you propose it also works, but then I'm worried at 5. You just took the idol at 7, blindsided like a Rizzo or Savannah. Then you played it at 6. Although I guess you could hold it for 5. But if you get to 5 with no idol after doing all that, then I'm a little worried about the target that could be on her. But maybe, look, I don't disagree. And that seems like maybe that's what she's thinking next week is like, if I make this move at 7, I'll have an idol for 6 and 5, like 6 or 5. Which at that point, it's like, is someone really going to try to blindside you at 6 with your idol? Like, unlikely. So I think it could be a really good. I think that Sophie, that's why she's played it so well. Like she got in good. She's been in the majority, but she's not like the target. She's not the one running the show. And now she has this opportunity to line up some moves for the rest of the way.
And not only is she not the one running the show, or by the optics, but she orchestrated hey, let's get the swing out. And hey, let's give it to Sophie S, Yellow Sophie, as far as
let her decide. Yeah.
And say she gets out of Savannah and a Rizzo and they're on the jury. She always has the option to say, like, yeah, I withheld this from y'all because y'all were together from day one and it was just me and I had to at least just protect my, like, she got some
Yeah.
she got some batito. She got some in her notebook.
100%.
If she were to make it to the end and they weren't, they would vote for her. They were rocking. And that's like Dom making it to the end and not me. Like, he got my vote. You picked me off. You did it. We were rocking together and you beat me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she would have a lot of favor with the jury. Even if she took out Arizona Savannah, I feel like they respect the game. So, yeah, if she plays this end game well, I think she's got the best resume. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see it because I know a lot of people are theorizing, oh, like one of the two that are on 50 are gonna win because then it's like there's one winner per tribe or whatever. But I'm like, I don't know. It's not that. It's not like that. It's like that obvious all the time.
And also, this is Survivor. This is the greatest game, and for them to make it that like the best thing that they could do is have both of those 50 people not win this season 49, because that would play the hell out of all of us, assuming that it's one of them.
Well, and also it's like if they're doing casting and they have those two winners, they're not automatically just going to be like, all right, whoever wins is on. Whoever wins 49 is on. Like, what if the winner was not the most entertaining character?
Right.
You know? So I think their mindset would be like, let's pick the best man and the best woman. And like, we'll make it. I mean, I guess maybe it wasn't always a guarantee that there would be two from 49 on there. But like, yeah, I feel like everyone was assuming there'd be a winner per tribe. But like, I don't necessarily think that that's but I'm glad that it's that's kind of up in the air, because it's like, I wouldn't want to know for sure. So maybe this is me holding out hope that something else happens, but
definitely. Well,
but I think Savannah's game is really, really fun, but I do worry about her with a jury of maybe rubbing some people the wrong way. Rizzo's also on track to playing a really good winning game right now too. But look, if Sophie B with the knowledge is power, like the ball's in her court, she could throw Rizzo off if she wants, so.
And that's what you got to do if you want to win. So it's interesting. The game sure is heating up, and your baby boys are locked in, giving you our raw, unfiltered take, as we always do. We are grateful for you for listening and supporting us. We will see you next week. We'll see you in Baltimore, Boston, LA, and NYC. Get ready, because the baby boys are coming. This has been your Survivor News, covering Survivor Season 49, Episode 10. We'll catch you next week.
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.